What's going on, everyone, and welcome to Movie Emporium's Netflix original TV review of The Chair. This series is created by Peet and Wyman. Now, before we begin, if you like this channel, awesome, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium, hit that notification bell at the top to find out what's coming next. If you like any of the videos, awesome, hit that like button, as well as comment below on any video that you watch, including this one. So The Chair is Netflix's newest attempt at a network dramedy, but this time it's mature, less restrained, all that good stuff. And it follows this university called Pembroke University. Now, with that said, we follow the English department, which is recently being chaired by the Sandra Ji-yoon character. Process through the 6 episodes, we follow the headaches and the kind of chaotic nature that it is to be a chair of a department as she kind of navigates her kind of ex-flame, who's played by Duplass, who plays Bill, who is a well-respected tenured teacher, but he has caused some issues that deal with Nazism, and so there's a whole big story arc going on with that, which causes a lot of chaos. And then we have the head of the school, the dean, played by David Morse, who's basically telling Joo-yoon's character to get rid of 3 people because they need to save some money, which brings in the old tenured people who are played by people like Balaban and Holland, who I think are the highlights of the show. And in the process, Ji-yoon has to deal with her daughter, with her father, and you're wondering why this woman by the end of the first season isn't in a insane asylum. But it's also dealing with like racism, it's dealing with the PC culture of today, it's dealing with everything that is going on in 2021 wrapped into 6-part episodes. And it's also produced by David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, who, if you don't know, created Game of Thrones. So having them in the mix, having Peet, who is actually an amazing actress, be the creator of this show has a lot of potential going for it. And on top of that, it has a great cast. Like I said, Sandra Oh and Duplass and Balaban and Holland, and of course David Morse. And it was a series I was looking forward to. You know, D.B. Weiss and David Benioff have been talking about how they're going to start creating stuff for Netflix. They were going to do a Star Wars thing, but that kind of fell through. So when I heard about this show, when I saw the trailer, I'm like, this looks like fun. You know, Sandra Oh is good in television. She has a real kind of charisma to her. Duplass, you know, whose brother is Mark Duplass, have created some really interesting films. So the dynamic and all that, what's going on, dealing with, you know, old tenured teachers. Got Bob Balaban's an amazing actor. And for the most part, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun little 6-part season. I thought it was chaotic. I thought it was insane. I thought that some of the stuff that Sandra Oh was dealing with in this series is just like, her mind was exploding left and right. And it really shows you how one little incident can create such a chaotic mess that you can almost not recover from it. But it also shows how people will be willing to go to bat if they have the right kind of charisma, if they have the right history. You know, Sandra Oh's Ji-yoon character, like I said, has a history with Duplass's Bill character. So she's always constantly fighting for him, but she's always battling against the other people who are not only trying to take over her job, but trying to keep their own job. You watch a character who's played by Mensah, who plays Yaz, who's constantly dealing with the fact that she wants to become tenured, but she's always being looked down upon by the older tenured professors. She has a whole running arc with a Bob Balaban character who just can't seem to get stuck out of his ways. And there's some really kind of really deep, really hard-hitting material here that might not sit well with everyone because a lot of people feel that the whole PC culture is kind of out of control right now. But this is an encapsulation of what can happen when those things start getting out of control. And then you throw in like Holland, who plays the older professor who is constantly trying to get in office, and she's just over the top, and you know, the type of old person that's willing to say whatever she feels. And she has such a really interesting arc throughout the entire first season, and that is just a series in a nutshell. It just really has that really cool kind of fire that kind of just goes out of control, and I really enjoy that. I really enjoy shows that are willing to broach subjects that are really interesting and meaningful, but are also really willing to be a little silly and a little goofy and so on and so forth. But with that said, this show gets a little mean-spirited for its own good a lot of times, which can be a little bit of a problem. Yes, you have, like I said, the really interesting broaching subjects, but the stuff that Sandra Oh goes through in this show is times a little too much for its own taste, a little too much for its own good. This is a woman that is really trying hard to keep her place in check, but it seems like sometimes the people just don't understand that, or they don't appreciate who she is. They're constantly looking out for their own good. The only reason that she has any self-worth, she feels like, in this show is because of her daughter, who's constantly at her throat and stuff like that, which is the way she talks to her. Duplass character feels like he's just constantly a problem and a little bit arrogant in his own right, but I understand his meaning. He's trying to get her to be a better person, to be understanding and more outgoing because she's a little stuck up and stuff like that. And I just feel like sometimes when it gets a little too out of control in the show, when it, the students feel like they're like really kind of punching her in the face just with all the, the PC culture and stuff like that. So it gets a little cumbersome and a little depressing in a lot of aspects. But it's just the way of the world today, so you can kind of see where they're going with it. But I just think sometimes it's a little too much for its own good. But with that said, it really does broach some really interesting concepts that really just show you how one incident can cause so many problems. And it's really a good show. It really is. It really shows you the strengths of what Amanda Peet and Amanda Wyman are doing. Overall, I think the show really does have a lot of fun with this material. Like I said, it's a little cumbersome, but I think if this show gets a second season, which I hope it does, I think they could go into some really interesting, really kind of crazy places that make this show more unique in the second season, which the first season is always the setup, and sometimes the second season is what you need to really kind of push that show into a new level. So I'm really looking forward to hopefully a second season. I think it leads off in a good place, and it really is a lot of fun. I think Sandra Oh, Duplass are all really good in the show. Bob Balaban's always great, and it's a show that I definitely recommend. So, but with that said, that is going to be my take on the first season of The Chair. Thank you so much for watching. Comments below, are you looking forward to this show? If you have seen the show, what do you think of the first season? All that good stuff. But otherwise, if you like what you see on this channel, awesome. Hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at the top to find out what's coming next. If you like any of these videos, awesome. Hit that like button, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.